Hi everyone, my name is Jenna Redfield, and today we're getting into something I'm so excited about, and that is how I lost 20 pounds without going to the gym, without a strict diet, right? So how did I lose 20 pounds without killing myself basically? So let's talk about that, and make sure to subscribe for more videos. I talk mostly on this channel about ADHD and Notion, which we'll be covering today. But today I want to talk about this because I know it's not an issue I talk about a lot on my channel, but a lot of the stuff I talk about on my channel has to do with, growing and getting better and just, making yourself either more productive or just growing personally. And, for me, challenging myself to lose weight was one of the biggest things that I've ever done in the last several years. So I wanted to talk about it, and I know a lot of people struggle with this as well. So let's just get into it, and I'll tell you guys all about my journey and how I actually lost weight. I'm gonna really quickly summarize my story. I've actually filmed this video 3 times, and each time I was telling my whole background, and I was like, no, it's not worth it. Basically, I struggled throughout my 20s to lose weight. I was pretty unhealthy in college. Throughout my 20s, I spent a lot of money on different gyms and fitness classes and all this stuff, but nothing ever worked. I tried the Whole30 diet for a month. That didn't work after. I was just completely went back to my unhealthy ways. But really what I've learned is that my diet was almost fully the issue here. And I knew that, but I didn't want to change. So the biggest thing that I want to mention is mindset is so important when it comes to weight loss. It's probably the biggest thing that I had to change in order for me to lose weight. Yes, a lot of it is physical, but your mental is what impacts your physical. So for me, changing my mindset to I'm a healthy person is what changed the game for me, and that was huge. So I want to talk a little bit about the changes that I made beyond that. So the first thing I want to talk about is, for me, the biggest thing that I did, there's 2 huge things that really changed that I had never done before. The first one is kind of a funny one, but also kind of serious. I quit eating cereal. Cereal for me was my downfall. I had it every single day. After taking a, food nutrition class, realized how much sugar was in cereal. So I switched completely to oatmeal, which is technically a cereal, but it's a lot more healthy, and I can add a ton of more healthy things to it that I absolutely love. I have the recipe below if you want to check it out, but that is now my new staple for breakfast is oatmeal. So I have that every single morning and have since August of last year. So that's the first thing that I did, was cut out cereal. The second one that I did that was so important is I invested in a $30 Bluetooth scale. When I say that this was the biggest change for me in my weight loss journey, it's not an understatement at all. It is absolutely what changed the game for me when it came to my weight loss journey. I bought a Eufy Scale, which is a brand. I just looked up a bunch of different Amazon scales and saw that this one had really good app reviews, and so I decided to buy it. It was 30 bucks. I'll link it below. And I decided to start weighing myself every day. First thing I do when I get up in the morning, I strip naked and stand on the scale because I want to make sure my clothes aren't impacting my weight. So before I go to the bathroom, I weigh myself before I eat breakfast. And what's cool about it is it syncs with my phone. So my phone can track, because I don't remember from the day before what I was. So my phone is smart and has its own brain. And it also tracks everything from your muscle mass to your BMI. Everything is on the phone. I'm actually going to show you guys kind of how it started. So when I first started my weight loss journey back in December, I weighed 175 pounds. Now I weigh under 155. So I've lost over 20 pounds. And so you can literally see from the beginning, as you scroll through the phone of me weighing myself every day, the difference. So obviously I don't just stand on a scale and it loses weight, but it was a huge impact for me to see the actions that I was taking every day and how they impacted the next day. So how I'm gonna walk through this. So I just wanted to mention that if you're looking for something that will really impact your weight loss, this scale for me was it. When I looked at myself, and I have been taking progress pictures, which I'll show you guys right now, I could not see a difference for a long time. But because the scale was telling me I was losing weight, it kept me motivated. Before, I just looked at progress photos and I'm like, I don't really see much of a difference. Again, it's all mindset. So knowing that I was actually losing weight really got me motivated to keep going. So I'm gonna be walking through things that worked, things that didn't work, and then some challenges I had with ADHD, as well as some awesome resources. So there's gonna be quite a bit in this video. And again, I have recorded this several times and I want to make it as clear as possible. So, all right, let's talk about things that worked. And we're gonna talk first about fitness. So one of the first things that I changed was I stopped going to the gym because it was super expensive. I realized I work better when it's a class or something where someone's teaching me. I don't like just going to open gym, just picking up some weights and like trying something. That wasn't really healthy for me. So I started doing some research on who's really good on YouTube, and I found Caroline Girvan. She is amazing. I mean, look at her body. Like, I was like, okay, I want to look like that. What I love about Caroline's workouts is that they're different every day. So again, ADHD, I can keep, it changes all the time. She's got a bunch of different programs. It's like day 1, day 2, day 3, like it's super easy to follow. And she uses different parts of your body. So some days it'll be leg day, some days it'll be arm day. And what's cool is it's very weight based, which is nice. I actually really like weighted workouts. Cardio for me has always been like something I always felt like I was working out more, but yet it didn't really actually impact me as much. I found that when I started doing weighted workouts, I could actually see that it was actually helping not only lose weight, but also build muscle. So I got some weights for Christmas, 20-pound weights. I also got some bands that go with her stuff. That's all you need are a pair of dumbbells and some bands for your legs. That's really it. And I started doing her fitness program and it was amazing. I joined her Facebook group. So that was like the first thing I started doing with fitness. The next thing that I really wanted to focus on was also walking. So walking, I know 10,000 steps is like what they say, and I did that for a while. I spent about 2 months walking 10,000 steps a day. Earlier this year, I realized that was very unsustainable because it took 2 hours of my day. I did buy a treadmill as well because it gets really, really cold here in the winter, and that's when I started walking. So I bought a treadmill. I also now, because it's summer, I am going to be walking outside more, and I just literally came from a walk. But I wanted to say that, like both of those things were all I did for my workouts. I didn't do a ton of hardcore, cardio fitness stuff. It was just these 30-minute Caroline Girvan workouts and walking. Not even running, walking. Those are the two things I did. Now with walking, I try to now do maybe 4,000 to 5,000 steps a day instead of 10,000 because I learned it was unsustainable for me. But walking is a really great way to lose weight. So I definitely incorporated both of those into my daily, I guess, workouts. The next thing that I also did was I started incorporating ice baths. So my friend Luis runs a company called Embrace North, and they do saunas and ice baths. They're actually growing like crazy, and I'm so happy for him. He just did VCon with Gary Vee this past weekend, and then did stuff with Jesse Eitzler, who is Sarah Blakely, who started Spanx, her husband. They're friends now, so just seeing their growth has been so fun. Anyways, that was the first time I'd ever learned about ice baths and the importance of those for, brown fat and all this stuff. If you want to do some research, make sure to check out below. But they're so good for you. So I started doing ice baths. That was another fitness thing I started doing. Okay, so that was fitness. Let's talk a little bit about food. This is kind of more of the bigger part of my journey. So one thing, people always ask, are you doing keto? Which I know is the big thing right now. No, I'm not, but I definitely have incorporated some of Keto's principles, which is more protein, less carbs, and more fat. That's really the world of the internet and just overall nutrition has just realized that is what you need. Not as much carbs and more fat and more protein. So I've really thought about that and really tried to incorporate that more into my diet. Some of the foods I want to mention, again, I'm not a big chef. Cooking is something I'm only learning to do. One thing I wanted to mention, the two tools that I would recommend getting is an Instant Pot and an air fryer. And honestly, if I had to pick between the two, I would pick an air fryer. It's so much faster than Instant Pot. It's a lot less scary than the Instant Pot. And I just find there's a lot more recipes I can do on the go quicker. So for me, besides my oatmeal recipe that I switched to doing every day, and smoothies, so I guess getting a blender as well might be a good option. Chicken breasts, buying frozen chicken breasts from Aldi, putting that in the air fryer for 25 minutes. You got a good chicken breast there. Some other things, I got really into this bread called Dave's Killer Bread. It's fantastic, you can get it at Whole Foods. really good, high in protein. So I make toast or, grilled cheese with that, things like, that I was kind of already eating before. The last food that I really love and is great for snacks is Chobani flips. They are Greek yogurt and I really enjoy eating those. So those are honestly, and then also there's this pizza that I make in the air fryer using a low carb tortilla, some pizza sauce and some mozzarella. That's it. It literally is so easy and it's really low calorie and low carb. So if you want to check that out, I'll probably link that below. Honestly, those are just some of the recipes. I probably have more. I do have my Notion food and fitness board down below. You can grab that on my Gumroad. I think it has some recipes as well. So, again, for me, it was more about focusing on calorie restrictions and calorie deficits. That I've learned is the best way to lose weight is just, paying attention to what you're eating in terms of like the amount and, modifying and moderating how much you're eating. There's, concepts like intuitive eating, all that stuff. For me, it's more just like I would binge or I would just put things in my body and I didn't even notice. Like that's how bad it was. Like I would just snack all day, which again, that spikes your insulin levels. So that's a huge thing is, just making sure that you're paying attention to what you're eating. Okay, so along with the air fryer, another thing that I started doing is I started eating some supplements. I'll list below all the ones that I have. Fish oil, ashwagandha, inositol, green tea extract. I tried all the ones that seemed like they were for weight loss, that were healthy and not like scary. And, again, like it kind of goes all together. So if they're helpful, they're helpful. If not, they're just kind of ones that I have done some research on and seem somewhat promising and have been using. Another thing I have tried to start doing as well is apple cider vinegar, mixing it with water. I also put it in a couple of my smoothies, which I'll link below. But those are ones that I also, thought was important is making sure that you have apple cider vinegar, because I really think my body was really like acidic, and that's really basic. So you can kind of make sure that you have like better internal body stuff. Okay, so this next one is really important as well, and one that I started doing, which I had never done before. It's not intermittent fasting, it's fasting for 24 hours once a week. I try to do that. I don't do it every week, but I would say maybe twice a month I fast for 24 hours. So I'll eat breakfast and then not eat the rest of the day and then not eat again until the next day. I usually do this, I know this sounds weird, I usually do this if for the few days, maybe my weight has started going up again. I usually then try to fast because it can kind of reset my system and kind of get my head back on to, let's keep, doing all the things we've been doing before. So that honestly has worked for me. And I obviously, this is not like, I'm trying not to trigger anyone, but like for me, it has worked and I don't, overdo it. Like I want to make sure that I am eating. I know the importance of eating. I don't want to starve myself. That is not a healthy way to lose weight. So, for me, I'm able to do that, but maybe not everyone here is. So fasting is definitely something I recommend. Dr. Mindy Pelz, she has some great resources on fasting. So if you want to follow her, I've learned that intermittent fasting for me is not really something I can do super well. I know a lot of people, it works for them. The only thing that I do is I time my eating at night. I try to end by 6 p.m. Obviously now, because of summer, everyone's like going out to dinner and stuff. It's a little harder, but I really try almost every day to end eating by 6. That's just kind of what I do. It helps my body settle down, helps me sleep. So for me, that is just something I've been doing. And then lastly, obviously drinking water. I got a new water bottle. Just water is really important for weight loss as well. I wanted to mention some of the tools that I use. Obviously my Apple Watch, I did a whole video about that last week. It's a great way to track your steps, track your fitness, your exercise rings. Again, Caroline Girvan's workouts on YouTube, I have them on my TV. I have a yoga mat, weights, and those bands, which again are like 10 bucks on Amazon. And obviously the weights. So I use, I think, 15-pound weights. And then I also have my scale, and then I have headphones for when I go on walks. I have cute workout clothes. I think it's important to make yourself want to work out by getting some nice workout clothes. And then my treadmill. So my treadmill costs $400. It was on Amazon. I really like it. It works really well. It doesn't rise, but you can run on it. It also goes under my desk, so it can like fold down. And so it's pretty easy to move around. So I will say, you know, I think a treadmill is important, especially if you use it. I'm trying to use it again as much as I can. All right, I want to talk a little bit about things that didn't work for me. First of all is setting a specific diet. I'm really not into diets because I'm the kind of person that likes to cheat, or, you know, if I'm like told I can't do something, it's very hard for me. So like when I did Whole30, it was just awful. I quit after 2 weeks. So even the keto diet for me, like I have to like cheat. Like I can't like not go to a friend's birthday and not be able to eat the things that are there. But really for me, it is just more of that daily, like, is this a good choice for me? You know, when I go grocery shopping, not just buying a bunch of cookies like I used to. Like there's just certain things that I used to do that were just really unhealthy. So for me, it's more about sustaining my, you know, diet and sustaining my life and making myself healthier and not restricting. So Abby's Kitchen on YouTube, highly recommend her videos. She shares a lot about how to eat healthy, but not, again, like restrict yourself. So I really like her videos. So a couple other things that didn't work. I tried bone broth, you guys. I couldn't get into it. So I know that's like a really healthy thing, but anyways. One thing I did forget to mention is I do add MCT oil also to my oatmeal every morning. So that is something that a lot of people from keto use. So I do that. So that is one thing I have added. And you can learn more about MCT oil. It's basically like coconut oil that's refined. Some other things, I bought a food scale, never used it. I'm really bad at weighing my food, counting calories. I'm just not that like particular about things. Again, it's more about that intuitive eating and just trying to be healthier versus being like super strict. Like you have to have a certain number of calories a day. It has to weigh this much a day. I can't. I don't think I could do that. Some other things like, again, keto, like, you know, I've tried to lean more that direction, but I haven't gone full keto. But definitely I really like some of the principles from keto, but not all of them. I think some of them are a little weird. But you know, just the general concept, more protein, more fat, less carbs. That's really just what I kind of aim for. And then lastly, the intermittent fasting, like I said, I mostly do the time restricted eating where I stop eating at 6, but I start usually at like 7. So it's like, you know, not like full intermittent fasting, but again, I do think fasting is important. And that's why I do the once a week fasting for 24 hours instead. It's a little easier for me. So I wanted to mention some struggles that I have with ADHD and doing all of this, because I think that for the longest time was my biggest struggle was, you know, first of all, patience. I'm really not patient. And so if it didn't work, I just give up. For me, the scale and weighing myself every day has kept me going, and really just, it's like gamified, made it like a game for me to try to continue to lose weight. So for a lot of my ADHDers, I really think the scale will work for you. Another thing I struggle with still is planning meals and grocery shopping. I've gotten better at going grocery shopping and not like buying a bunch of junk food, but I'm still bad at being like, okay, well, what am I gonna eat this week? I know I have my Notion template and I'm really trying to use that more because I have like a list of all the meals that I like. One of the things I might do is like have like a weekly theme, so like chicken for a week or beef for a week or something, or have smoothies every day this week or something where it's easy for me to remember. But right now I don't have a clear system yet, and that's something I'm still working on. And the other thing with ADHD that I really struggle with is how my interest levels change. You know, for a while I was doing the 10,000 steps a day, but then I got sick of that, or it wasn't interesting anymore and I got unmotivated. So for me, like, just knowing that whatever I do I have to do something that is motivating and something that is somewhat health themed, whether that's walking or doing like a Caroline Girvan workout. One of those two during the day is important. So that's probably my biggest struggle, but you know, the scale honestly has really helped me keep track. The last thing I wanted to mention, I've kind of mentioned some people throughout, and I wanted to kind of list them off again if I missed them. So the first one is Dr. Eric Berg. He is a YouTuber and has a podcast. Really good information. Probably one of the most, he has like a ton of content. I really enjoy his stuff. Dr. Mark Hyman, he has the YouTube channel and the podcast called The Doctor's Pharmacy. He also has an amazing documentary called Fat Fiction. Highly recommend. It's on YouTube for free. You can watch it. It's amazing. A book that I recommend is called The Circadian Code. It really taught me about timed eating. Really good. I learned so much from that book. It really impacted my weight loss journey. Dr. Mindy Pelz here on YouTube for fasting information. Really, really good. I also really like Fabulously Frugal here on YouTube for air fryer recipes and just learning about the air fryer. Really, really helpful information. Dr. Andrew Huberman Lab podcast. Really good as well about a lot of stuff around health and fitness. Dietitian Abby from Abby's Kitchen, Abby Sharp. She is amazing, really good when it comes to food. She critiques a lot of other people's diets, which is really helpful in a good way. Like, I really think she's a very positive person and has some good ideas. Linda Sun is another person here on YouTube. I have found some good recipes from her. Health Coach Kate here on YouTube also, and Instagram. She's got some really great infographics that I always learn from. And then Gary Taubes, he wrote a couple of books, including Calories In, Calories Out, some other great content around like keto and stuff. So I highly recommend his books as well. So those are the people that I recommend. I have mentioned that I use Notion specifically also to track food and that kind of thing. It's hard for me to track like my fitness on Notion. Again, I mostly do that on like my Apple Watch and on my scale, but not with Notion. I'm trying, but it's so like every day to remember to do that. I like having tools that do it for me, and then maybe once a month I'll go through and add it. But for me, I actually use Notion more for food than I do for fitness, and it's a great way to store all of my recipes. So it's almost like Pinterest for me. So I can have like my own Pinterest boards on Notion. It also is my grocery list. So those are the two things I use Notion for fitness. And I plan to do all of that stuff when I, have more time, is to figure out a system for fitness as well with Notion. But for now, I just mostly use it for food and groceries. And I have my fitness tracker as well as my ADHD tracker, which I'm going to be redoing a little bit of it soon. It's also available on Gumroad, so you can check that out below. Otherwise, hope you guys follow me on Instagram and TikTok. This is basically all the things that I've learned over the last year or so, and I hope this was helpful. This is kind of a little bit of a longer video, but I really think I had a lot to say, and I wanted to give you as many resources as possible that actually helped me. They weren't just like ones that like people are like, you should be doing this. These are what actually worked for me to lose 20 pounds in about 6 months. And so I hope that this is helpful, and let me know if you want more videos like this, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.